game, the Celtics' two superstars stepping up and getting the job done in the fourth quarter, both scoring 31 points in this one.
Whoa, three superstars.
Okay, all right. We'll talk about Rob Williams at some point as well for Chris Forsberg. Yeah, I think he's referencing Rob Williams, who was strong tonight as well. Tom Giles, Chris Forsberg, Kendrick Perkins, and Perk. Jason Tatum, 16 points in that fourth. Jaylen Brown, 12 points in that fourth quarter. They just decided they were making sure the Celtics went back to Boston with a chance to close things out in Game 5.
And they did what superstars do, take you home on the road. But I thought it started early. They were in attack mode, getting downhill, snatching the screws out the rim, getting to the free throw line. Like, when those two are aggressive and attacking the basket, when you look at guys around the league that's at the wing and guard position, it's not too many that are more athletic and more skilled than Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And the way that the Hawks were playing one-on-one defense, leaving the boxes and elbows open, meaning driving gaps were open, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum took full advantage of that tonight from the start. And you see it carried over all the way to the fourth quarter.
I thought the momentum changed at 9:01 of the second quarter. During that timeout, Jaylen Brown launches his mask and says, all right, I am done with this. I was really worried because he was struggling in that first half. He's had a couple of rough moments in this series, and it just felt like he wasn't himself. I didn't know if it was the shoulder, the hand, what it was. And then Jaylen Brown takes that mask off and goes right back into previous superhero mode. The energy completely shifted. They were in attack mode from that point forward. And if they get that Jaylen Brown moving forward in the playoffs, then the Celtics are back to a championship level team. Not that they ever probably faded from that, but certainly during stretches of this series, you're sitting there going, when are they going to kind of crank it up a level? It just shows when Rob's hustling for rebounds, when Jason and Jaylen have it going like that, when Marcus Smart goes from questionable to running down the lane and dunking on people, this team looks really, really good. And give credit. I thought everybody had a little hand in it at one point or another, but your superstars carried you to the finish line.
They absolutely did, and one of them standing by with Abby Chin right now. Let's hear from Jason Tatum after the Celtics win.
Jason, this was a tough physical game. The Hawks gave you everything they had. How were you guys able to maintain your poise and get this win?
I think, like you said, just maintain our poise. Every time they went on a run, we responded. And guys made big-time plays, big-time shots. I think Rob had 20 rebounds, gave us second and third chance opportunities, and those were big.
You and JB combining for 61 points, but I know both of you take so much pride in playing both ends of the floor. You had 3 blocks tonight. What got you guys going in the second half?
Making plays. We talk about all the time. By any means necessary, figure out a way to win. If it's hitting shots, if it's screening, if it's diving on the floor, it starts from the top and everybody will follow. We all got to do the little things.
Speaking of doing whatever it takes, Rob Williams, 15 rebounds tonight. Al had 11. How big were the bigs?
They was huge. Rob bounced back from last game. Everybody did. And, those won us the game. Agana just fouled out on against Al because he got the offensive rebound. Little things like that add up. That just momentum plays.
And now you guys have a closeout opportunity going back to Boston. What does the mentality have to be in Game 5?
It's not going to be easy. They got a lot of pride. They're a really good team. It's going to be tough. And we just got, we're going to have to thug it out like we did tonight.
Jason, thank you. Congratulations.
All right, so there's Jason Tatum and Bradley Beal down at State Farm Arena wearing the red St. Louis hat there. You see?
And on the opposite side, it was Kemba.
Oh, I didn't see Kemba.
Yeah, so it's just the superstars coming.
Celtic.
Well, everybody wants to come out and see what a championship team looks like.
And two guys who certainly stepped up when they needed to. And Jason Tatum again, 16 points, 3 of 5 from 3. He kind of struggled shooting the ball from deep, but certainly came through in that fourth quarter. And Jaylen Brown as well, attacking the basket, making plays. So the Celtics get the win, 129-121. We'll talk about both these guys, but let's start with Tatum. And Perk, I'll start with you and your thoughts on what you saw from Jason Tatum and just the way he elevated his game in the fourth quarter, coming off what we saw in Game 3 where he said, that's on me, I got to step up.
Well, we just saw Jason Tatum. I was watching Jason Tatum in that interview, and he's been living in the weight room. Every time I see him, it looked like he did put on another 4 or 5 pounds of muscle. But that just goes to show you that he is still working to get better. But what I saw aggressive Jason Tatum. Yes, he's going to take those 3-point shots. Yes, at times he's going to get in his bag and you're going to see the sidestep and fadeaways. But today he went through the chest of the Atlanta Hawks and went downhill all night long. But when you see him yelling and you see him playing with that passion and that emotion and getting out in transition and blocking Trae Young's shot, look, getting down on the defensive end and meeting the DeJounte Murray at the basket, that's the JT right there. He talked about it, and he actually backed it up tonight.
Channeling his inner Rob there with the 3 blocks. And I love that. There have been stretches where Tatum has played like an all-defense kind of guy. Now he gets away with it sometimes, and we see him be a great scorer. But, man, I love when he brings that defensive intensity.
All right, let's bring in Eddie and Scal now as well. And, guys, what did you think of the 2 superstars down the stretch, stepping up and making sure the Celtics got this win?
Can I just go with Jaylen Brown? He took the mask off. I thought he was fantastic since then. Attacking, defensively, shooting the ball better. Sometimes for players, he's been great with the mask since the All-Star break. But he took that thing off today, and he just turned into a different guy. I thought he made big plays down the stretch.
Yeah, and Jason Tatum was stepping up. I mean, made that long 3, then went to the basket and closed it out with that hard dunk, stepped up to the free throw line, made some free throws. I thought also he was engaged. He was rebounding the basketball early. He was attacking early, getting to the free throw line, but then the 3 blocks. The 3 blocks, when your leader is out there getting those blocks like that, it feeds your whole team. Everybody on your team understands the energy, the will to win that it takes, and you see that. It's a trickle-down effect. Guess what? Rob Williams diving on the floor for loose ball. Everybody starts pitching in, and you get a win like this, you're able to go back to Boston with opportunity to close this out.
And to wrap this all in a bow, that team that we just saw today, the way that they played, that energy, that team ain't losing 4 games in a 7-game series. I'm sorry. It ain't happening.
Interesting. Yeah, well, especially when you're seeing Jaylen Brown play the way he did. Scal, I know you talked about it. Eddie, your thoughts on what you saw from Jaylen, because this is the best he's looked in a long time.
Well, yeah, I thought that he was aggressive. And, the mask, like, for whatever reason, was bothering him a little bit. But once he took that mask off, he just started going to work, man. I mean, shooting shots from everywhere, getting to the basket, getting Debo buckets. I'm talking about gangster baskets, going into the chest. And Perk, you'll love it. He was tomato chesting every big man that he was going up against. And that shows another guy who lived in the weight room, worked on his strength, understood what it takes. I mean, he was phenomenal tonight. Another guy who had a homecoming, Malcolm Brogdon, being here from Atlanta, played extremely well. That's a tomato chest right there. Great job by Jaylen Brown.
But you know what? It wasn't just offensively for me when it comes down to JB. I thought tonight that was some of his better on-ball defense that I've seen him play in a long time. When he got caught in those one-on-one matchups on the island, I thought he actually sat down in his chair and buckled down with active hands that made it tough, especially on Murray. Murray struggled with Brown guarding him tonight. He rarely got switched out on Trae Young, but I thought his closeouts was fantastic tonight. I thought everything across the board defensively that may not show up in the stat sheet, JB was on tonight.
And the last thing I would add, the 3 assists. I think that not a big number.